Let's imagine a playground. One kid has a shiny marble. He knows it's his. It feels safe in his pocket. Then you have another kid. He has a big pile of paper tickets. A much bigger kid is holding those tickets for him. So the question is, are those paper tickets really as safe as that shiny marble? Well, that exact scenario is playing out on a global scale, and it's all about gold. Just recently, the price for one single ounce of gold shot up, hitting an all-time high. I mean, think about that for a second. A record-breaking price for what is, let's be honest, a shiny yellow rock. But this isn't just a number, it's a signal. A huge flashing light telling us something big is happening in the world's economy.
And it really does seem like everyone wants a piece of it. We're not just talking about individual folks buying a few coins here and there. We are talking about massive banks and even entire countries buying gold in record amounts. It really makes you wonder, why this sudden, crazy demand for shiny rock? Why now? What has changed to make the world so anxious for gold? And to be clear, this is not just some small market trend. This is a global gold rush. In places like Japan, major sellers have literally completely run out of gold bars to sell. It's a worldwide scramble for something tangible, something you can actually hold in your hand. It's a flight to safety, away from things that just don't feel so safe anymore. All right, to really wrap our heads around this modern-day gold rush, we have to go back in time a little bit. And it all kicks off with what I like to call the playground fight, a huge event that sent shockwaves through the entire global financial system. So, in February 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. And in response, the big kid on the playground, that's the West, led by the G7 nations, decided to hit back with a punishment like we've never seen before. They didn't just issue sanctions, they effectively took Russia's lunch money. They froze all of the Russian central bank's assets held in their financial systems.
And we are not talking about pocket change. We are talking about over $300 billion worth of assets. All those paper tickets, the bonds, the currencies, were suddenly locked away. Now, they weren't seized, but Russia completely lost access to them. They were frozen solid.
Now, this slide shows you where all that money was being held. As you can see, the vast majority, about 55%, was in euros, with another huge chunk in US dollars. You see, for decades, holding your reserves in stable foreign currencies like these was considered the safest thing you could do. Russia thought its money was totally secure in European and American banks. Well, that assumption turned out to be completely wrong.
But freezing the assets, that was just the first domino to fall. This move created a ripple effect, a domino of doubt that is still spreading. Because now, the conversation in the West has shifted from just freezing the money to actually using it. And this right here is the crucial point that has the rest of the world so nervous. There's a world of difference between freezing and seizing. Freezing is temporary. The assets are locked, but they still technically belong to Russia. Seizing is permanent. That's like taking the piggy bank, smashing it open, and spending all the money inside. And that's exactly what Western leaders are now seriously thinking about doing. You can see why the idea is so tempting, right? Europe and the US need billions to keep funding Ukraine. And hey, there's a $300 billion pile of Russian money just sitting there. As this timeline shows, the idea has gone from using just the profits to maybe using the assets themselves as collateral for massive loans. It's a legally murky and, for a lot of people, a very dangerous idea. So, not surprisingly, Russia's response to this has been furious and crystal clear. As this quote shows, they view it as straight-up theft, a highway robbery on a global scale, and they have promised to retaliate with, quote, all possible means. But what's maybe even more important than Russia's reaction is who was watching all of this go down. And the answer is every other kid on the playground, every other country in the world with money stored away in Western banks. They all operated under this one big assumption, that their lunch money, their sovereign reserves, was totally safe with the big kid. But now, they've seen the rules of the game change overnight. They've learned that access to their own money can just be turned off, like a light switch, if they fall out of favor. For almost 80 years, the global financial system operated on a bedrock principle you see here, sovereign immunity. In simple terms, it's an unwritten rule that you just don't seize the central bank assets of another nation. It was considered untouchable. By freezing Russia's assets and now talking about seizing them, the West is breaking that fundamental rule. And that is exactly why so many countries are now deeply scared. The result is this profound breakdown of trust. Trust in the US dollar as the world's go-to currency is being questioned. Trust in the euro is getting weaker. The entire system, which relies on this belief that your assets are safe and accessible, suddenly feels fragile and like it can be used as a political weapon. So if you're a country watching all this happen, what do? You start taking your lunch money back. You start trading in those paper tickets, those dollar and euro assets for something real, something tangible that no one can freeze or seize. You start buying gold. And this slide basically lays out the new playbook for central banks all over the world. Step 1, slowly start selling off assets that are in US dollars and euros. Step 2, use that money to buy physical gold in huge quantities. And step 3, which is absolutely critical, store that gold at home, not in vaults in London or New York, but safely within your own borders. And here is the fundamental difference. You can freeze digital money held in a foreign bank with a single keystroke, but you can't freeze a physical gold bar that's sitting in your own country's vault. Gold has become the ultimate escape hatch from a financial system where the rules can be rewritten by the most powerful players. And this brings us right to the trillion-dollar question that central bankers all over the world are struggling with right now. In a world where financial trust has been broken, what is truly safe? Is it the promise represented by those paper tickets held in someone else's vault? Or is it the physical certainty of a shiny yellow rock that you hold yourself?